In this comparative study, I am going to compare and contrast the narrations into coming-of-age genre films, a Japanese animated fantasy film, Spirited Away, written and directed by Hayao Miyazaki in 2001, and an American dark fantasy adventure film, Alice in Wonderland, directed by Tim Burton in 2010, while examining their similarities and differences with the film focus of the coming-of-age genre. Both films paint stories of the protagonist's linear growth. The 2010 real-life Alice in Wonderland tells the story of how Alice grows into the figure of the Alice perceived by the citizens of the Wonderland through overcoming obstacles. Similarly, in Spirited Away, the protagonist Chihiro is trapped in a world of spirits, and she finally grows up as identifying her inner strength during challenges. Although both two films were produced in the 21st century and portray a little girl's adventure in a magical world, their distinct geographical and technological contexts make them individual from each other with unique features to communicate the coming-of-age genre. Specifically, I'm going to examine how the chemistry between film score and screenplay narrates this genre, and how stylistic features influenced by the origins of the films creates the corresponding setting for the coming-of-age genre. Technological context. In Spirited Away, cooperating with Joe Hisaishi, a Japanese composer and pianist, Miyazaki used his music to interpret how the combination of music and screenplay expresses the coming-of-age genre with the technique of setup and payoff. For instance, in the setup scene that Chihiro needs to walk down the staircase outside the building without handrail, to establish a nervous mood, Miyazaki used sound effects of trials with shots of the surrounding, Chihiro's cautious movements, and her sitting on the step and being afraid of going forward, while in the payoff scene where Chihiro runs across a floating duck, this sound effect is accompanied with her preparations for the challenge, revealing her determined mood. When the next step broke as Chihiro stepped on, a high-pitched film score is used to elevate the danger and fear while Chihiro is forced to run downstairs and crashes into the wall embarrassedly. However, in the counterpart, such soundtrack enhances the tension and evokes the audience's nervousness to illustrate Chihiro's bravery after she successfully reaches the ladder. Miyazaki compared two obstacles with the use of the same soundtrack to illustrate her growth and the genre of coming of age. Such techniques proves how, with juxtaposing different solutions to similar obstacles, sound effects communicate the protagonist's change to imply the coming-of-age genre. In Alice in Wonderland, instead of using the same soundtrack, Burton utilized a variation of the theme song, Alice's Theme, by Danny Elfman, and special stage setting to illustrate her growth. While she is chased by the Red Queen's army in the beginning, Burton used a low-key version of the song to express the evilness that gradually engulfs the Wonderland and to reflect Alice's perspective on the first conflict. She wants to escape from this terrifying dream.
It's only a dream.
Later on, Frabjous Day, during the decisive battle between Alice and Jabberwocky, Burton adjusted the theme song with an extra bars, enhancing the intensity. Remaining the high key correlating with the screenplay, the background music conveys the sense of bravery and hope. With a wide shot displaying the stage setting of the spiral staircase and increasing volume of the background music, Burton communicates the mise-en-scène of Alice's growth and her transition into the Alice discussed by the citizens in the Wonderland as she climbs up. Finally, the protagonist grows into the figure of the Alice in a full shot of her wielding the sword in the air in slow motion and beheading Jabberwocky, and the sense of heroism is enhanced by the final drum beat. Along with the setting of the upward spiral staircase, the rising background music communicates the mise-en-scène of psychological growth as the protagonist conquers the final challenge with the drum beat, which reflects the effective power of sound design narrating the coming-of-age genre as edited in the scenes with consistent settings. Sound design is a powerful tool for narration. It places the image in a physical and emotional context, helping us to decide how to take the image. Both directors used the intensity brought by the orchestra and the chemistry between the sound design and screenplay to illustrate the protagonist's growth, so far as to magically turn the movies into rhythmic symphony. Cooperating with elements like special stage setting and character performance, sound design elevates the sense of success in their growth and the coming-of-age genre communicated throughout the film by comparing scenes. Geographical context. With the enrichment of Japanese anime stylistic features, including lighting, colors, and drawing styles, Spirited Away achieves to speak to its target audience, the children, through showing Chihiro's adventure in the mythical world.
もう一回乗り継ぐからね。はい。
To appeal to the target audience, the color palette plays a key role. In Spirited Away, the flare of the colors garners attention from the audience, especially when the night is falling and the spirits arrive at the bathhouse to relieve. Combining with the saturated colors and retaining the style of Studio Ghibli, the cute anime drawing style melts the gap between the audience and the world on screen. Set by these stylistic features, the overall tone makes this world a child's imagination. Further, Miyazaki embedded the details to make the film realistic. According to the interview, the main character Chihiro was inspired by a real little girl, the daughter of one of the director's friends.
She's kind of a lazy bum, which is exactly the way that my favorite 10-year-old girls are. You lazy bum, I want to tell them, but I know their inner resources are as rich as Chihiro's.
あんた、カマジンにお礼言ったの？世話になったんだろ？ありがとうございました。
So Chihiro acts more realistically in such imaginary formalistic world. For instance, when Chihiro is putting her shoes on, she taps her toes to make sure that she wears them properly instead of simply making her move. The fusion of the wonderful imagination and realistic details appeals to the target audience, and it successfully builds the stage and context for a little girl Chihiro's coming of age. Alice in Wonderland keeps the stylistic features from its origin as a dark fantasy novel on the aspects of lighting techniques and color palettes. Burton strategically manipulates the light design to embed heroism, conveying special geographical features in their American context to communicate Alice's coming of age. During the production of Alice in Wonderland, green screens were used for the construction of the setting in the post-production, which not only enhances the genre of dark fantasy, but also introduces the essence. When Alice slays Jabberwocky, a backlight is edited into the scene to enhance Alice's contour for the magnification of the success and heroism. The high contrast between the light and darkness reveals the genre of dark fantasy depicting the novel. And the stage design of the spiral staircase builds the corresponding gothic style for this genre. With Burton's hand, Alice grows into a hero surrounded with light from a little girl chased by Bandersnatch. The effect of these stylistic features retained from the original work substantiate their ability of illustrating the growing heroism that not only attracts the children, but also speaks to the genre of coming of age. Conclusion. Overall, two directors fabulously utilize distinct technological and geographical contexts to narrate the story of protagonists coming of age in the films. In Spirited Away, the stylized visual features provide an excellent context for displaying Chihiro's story, and sound design is used for juxtaposition of the challenges to demonstrate Chihiro's growth. In Alice in Wonderland, embracing the original genre of dark fantasy, Burton manipulated the variation of film score to imply Alice's growing inner strength and used lighting techniques to present the heroism prevailing in the films under American genre for communicating the genre of coming of age. In conclusion, the coming of age genre can be identified in both works with distinct cultural contexts. Two directors manipulated different techniques, including sound design, visual effects, and appealing to geographical features to reach the goal of presenting a linear development into protagonist figures. In comparison, Alice achieves her goal and becomes the Alice discussed by the others at the beginning, since her growth completes in a still frame of her depicted as a hero, slaying the Jabberwocky with a drumbeat. Rather, Chihiro's story continues, as Miyazaki didn't present a stop sign indicating the end of her growth as a young child.